Try The Athletic for free for 7 days. Okay, we're not going to showcase anything that's behind this paywall right here. Y'all know the drill by now. The Athletic is paid for material, so if you do have the subscription, you can click the link in the description to head over to this article and read NHL Trade Matchmaker, predicting where the top targets go by the deadline. This article was written by Chris Johnston and Pierre LeBrun, and in it is a conversation about a very particular Vancouver Canucks forward. You know him, you love him, you saw him in the title and thumbnail. Today we are talking about Chief Keef, 21 Savage, ASAP Rocky, and the like. It is Kiefer Sherwood, my friends, on this beautiful Christmas morning. Merry Christmas, by the way. Happy holidays to all the fellas. Let's go out there and read what exactly it is predicted by Johnston and LeBrun as to where Kiefer Sherwood could be getting traded to. Now, to help us out, because the Athletic is paid for material, and I don't want to go out there and just screenshot, screen grab the article, we're going to go over onto the R Canucks subreddit, because Max Hardwood went out there and just straight up copy and pasted the excerpt here from the piece. Now, I will say there are a number of names that are discussed in this article. It's not just Sherwood. There are so many other conversations that are held here, so I don't feel too bad just going out there and looking at a Reddit post, but this is available for anybody to read without a subscription, so let's just get into it here, right? Max Hardwood, shout out to you for copy and pasting the Athletic piece, but this is where Kiefer Sherwood is predicted to go. First, by Pierre LeBrun. He says that Sherwood could head over to the Dallas Stars. We know the Stars have already kicked tires on the pending UFA, and that was before Tyler Seguin was lost long-term to an ACL injury. Dallas does not have a first-round pick in June, as it was dealt last season to the Carolina Hurricanes in that Mikko Rantanen trade. I wonder if the Stars would entice the Canucks with 23-year-old forward Maverick Bourque. The 30th overall pick from the 2020 draft hasn't quite measured up yet to the offensive potential he had showed in the AHL in 23-24 with 71 points in 71 games. The Canucks are seeking younger players as they continue their post-Quinn Hughes roster retool. I'm not sure if Bourque is the answer, but I do think there's a matchup here somehow between the Stars and Canucks. You have Chris Johnston over here. The Boston Bruins are his prediction for Kiefer Sherwood. Sherwood is a prototypical Bruin. Big, fast, and tenacious on the forecheck. Just kidding, Chris Johnston. Kiefer Sherwood's only 6 feet. What do you mean big? Okay, I'm one to talk. I'm 5'3", if you haven't already noticed. So, yeah, maybe he's not necessarily the biggest when it comes to NHL sizing, but he is fast, he is tenacious, and he does all this on the forecheck. As such, he is viewed as a player who would be a great fit in an organization that is building back up following last year's reset. What's more, the Canucks and Bruins have explored potential trade fits on a variety of players dating to the summer. The biggest hurdle here might be the asking price. Vancouver is seeking a meaningful return for a player who looks poised to blow past 20 goals for the first time in his career, and Boston isn't expected to be chasing rentals at this deadline. However, these teams might be able to thread the needle if this trade comes with a contract extension for Sherwood, which is something he would be open to. So, interesting new report here out of Chris Johnston. Apparently, Kiefer Sherwood would be okay with going over to the Boston Bruins and signing with that team. Let's go out there and read the top reply. The Empty Life said, like I said last time, Boston, you want to give us Toronto's first-round pick, Boston. So, yeah, okay. Hypnosis going on over here. I mean, the pick is top 5 protected, so that, of course, puts a little bit of a dampen on how things could go. I mean, if you head over to the NHL standings right here, you will see that the Toronto Maple Leafs are not doing all too well. They're 23rd in the National Hockey League right now. The Boston Bruins are better at 18th overall. So if the Vancouver Canucks were to trade Kiefer Sherwood over to the Bees, I would probably assume that targeting that Toronto Maple Leafs first is a better deal for Patrick Allvin, or I guess Jim Rutherford, because he's the guy that does all the moves, right? Not Patrick Allvin. He just signs the contract extensions. Either way, Toronto hasn't really been doing all too well this season. Morale is low. They just fired some guys. They might fire even more. Who knows? But top 5 protected means you can't really hope for Toronto to get too far down the standings, or else the pick slips over to 2027. Hey, if Toronto sucks then too, it'd be pretty cool. But for the Boston Bruins, their pick is not as valuable at the moment. You could debate the idea like, oh, maybe Boston should send over both of their first-round picks, theirs and Toronto's, which obviously doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world when you consider the fact that Tanner Jeannot got infinite picks in his trade. Kiefer Sherwood can hit too, and he can also score goals. So you could definitely say there is some added value there. If this guy gets 36 goals on the year and only 9 assists, you're still looking at a 30-plus goal scorer out of Kiefer Sherwood, a guy who was playing in the AHL just 3 years ago. I mean, it has been a pretty steep and sudden journey for Chief Keef into the National Hockey League, and now taking a look at Vancouver's valid asking price for this guy, they do want a first. They do want some younger talent. I do like what Johnston and LeBrun have to say about this update here. Now, heading back over to the Dallas conversation, there is a discussion on Maverick Bourque, whether or not he could be a Vancouver Canucks trade target. He was so productive in the AHL all those years ago. 77 points is nothing to scoff at. Last year, he had scored 25 points in 73 games at the NHL level. This year, he is on pace for just 1 more point in a boatload more games. So it hasn't really been the best production and progression for Maverick Bourque, but he is playing in the middle of bottom 6 of a very, very good Dallas Stars team. So you can say that there is some extra opportunity that Bourque could get that could bolster up his production. Think Liam Ogren, for example, from the Minnesota Wild. Also, I just like the idea of Kiefer Sherwood heading over to Dallas and torturing Quinn Hughes in the first round of the playoffs this upcoming campaign. That does seem like something I think Canucks fans would be very interested in. If the Canucks can get a whole bunch of firsts, they can get some futures, they can get some pretty good assets out of these trades, and then see the 2 guys that they traded away beat each other up in the playoffs. Obviously, Quinn is not going to go out there and try to pummel Kiefer Sherwood, but he'll try to fight back at the very least. Chief Keef was a thorn in Vancouver's side in the playoffs in 2024. So hey, we'll see whether or not Dallas or Boston can be the team. Can Vancouver get a first? Maybe a first plus from the Boston Bruins? Can they get Maverick Bourque? Something else along those lines from the Dallas Stars? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Kiefer Sherwood trade update. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.